Well, welcome to a new video. Thanks for checking this out. So you're here to find out how to get your older retro gaming consoles working on perhaps your new 4K TV, and they've only got HDMI input. Now back in the day we used to use adapters to plug them in the TV, like the original RF, which is the worst. Then we had composite, and then we had RGB SCART, which is the people's favorite, and people still use that today, especially with the old CRT TVs. It's probably the best analog signal you can get with that cable. Then you had component, which is kind of a HD version of that, and now people only got the HDMI. Now I've done some videos in the past with the level height adapters, and they've been working absolutely awesome. But people want a bit of a premium experience, and there's a lot of options out there for us, but this is one of my personal favorites, and a lot of American YouTubers you probably would heard is the Framemeister. Now when that originally came out, that was about £400 I believe, and now they're not in the market anymore, so they go on eBay for about £1,000. So now steps in the OSSC. Now this is very different to that of the Framemeister because that is an upscaler. Now this is something a bit different, and this is one of my personal favourite and looks pretty awesome on my 4K TV. So let's jump into a bit of an unboxing of what you get with your purchase, and I'll show you a bit more detail of the results that you actually get. So with this purchase, it's actually an all-in-one package of everything that you need to get this up and going. This was sold in the past in separate units, so this would actually cost more, but this is a lot better deal. So it comes with a remote, it comes with a universal adapter. I believe that's a European or American. So if you buy this from different countries, you're good to go. But with this package, it also comes with a UK power supply as well. Now this is a 5-volt power, so you may have one lying about, but it's good to actually get one so you know it's official one with the product that you buy. And then this is the actual unit itself. Let's put the box on the side. It is packaged really well, I have to say. So let's give this an open and see what we get. So this is the adapter itself. So I went with a transparent color, and you can see there's actually OSSC sign on there. Oh, there's a little scratch on mine. There's the front end buttons, so that actually changes the source. And as you can see on the top, they are labeled of which port goes where, which is pretty nice. And then we got that nice clicky on and off switch. So let's have a look on the other sides here. So there's the power supply go in, there's your VGA in, and then we've got our component cable in and our RGB SCART in. As you can see with the component cable, there's no audio in, but as we turn this on the side, there are 2 audio in with a jack. And then you've got your HDMI out, that will go into the TV. So at the front here, we've also got an SD card slot, which is at the front, and then we've got the LCD screen. So let's have a look now at the remote. Now this is a universal remote, so it actually works with the device, but is not actually labeled as it was intentioned for this device. It's got some instructions, but they are pretty useless. But you can get a layout of this controller, and you can actually print this. There is a printable version of this online as well. It didn't come with any batteries though. It's a bit weird, they're only AAAs. So now I'm going to hook up some game consoles, the one I can actually access, and I'll show you some captured gameplay. I'll also get into some good points of this adapter and also some bad points later on in the video. So the first console I want to show you guys is the PlayStation 2. Now this is a console that's a bit of a pain because the output on that console was probably one of the worst in the generation when you compare it to the GameCube, the Dreamcast and also the Xbox. So it's very nice to try and get this as clean up as possible to feature on your big screen. Now this is Tekken 5 as you know, and it's looking pretty awesome. But there's a bit of a catch because this is the American version, because I got my PlayStation 2 modded to run NTSC games. Now you can actually go to the options of this one, and you can choose to have progressive mode. So you can get out of interlace, which is the standard, and then put into progressive. So that is really nice with this American copy. Now there are a handful of games in the UK that actually feature progressive. Basically progressive mode is a low type of high definition. It actually features more information of the game, making it look a lot clearer. So interlace actually works really well on CRT TVs, but what you want for your HD screen is the progressive mode. So for an example, this is a PAL copy of Resident Evil 4, and I'm going to bung this now into the PlayStation 2. And with this game, if you actually hold down the triangle and X button, actually you can force this into progressive mode. It gives you the option after it boots up. So that is what one that we're after to try and get the best type of quality of image. So here we have it, is in progressive mode, and just something I like to personally do is when with a lot of games for the PlayStation 2 give you an option to set it to widescreen mode. So this will actually fill up your screen on your big 4K TV pretty nicely. Now there's only just a fair few of these titles, but it looks pretty sweet. Now this is actually set up using the RGB SCART cable. Now this RGB SCART cable that I've got is a pretty expensive one. It cost me about 15 quid. And yeah, I'm not too sure because this was quite new to me. I only experienced setting up PlayStation 2 games to progressive using the component cables. Now I can actually get this up using the RGB SCART cable with this OSSC adapter, and I found that pretty awesome. Now I don't know if it's you have to have a certain RGB SCART, just let me know in the comments box below, but this one seemed to be working just fine. With the actual box you have to press a button to enable your SCART to have progression. Just basically one button and it sees the signal. Now there is a plug and play feature with this. You could just simply plug in your cable to the OSSC and plug your HDMI out without changing any settings. So the 480 interlace signal works completely fine. It just kind of boosts it up to HDMI signal, so just a straight pass through. So as I stated earlier, this is not like the FrameMeister where it'll just grab that image and upscale it to 1080p. This is a line doubler. So for instance with 480i signal, they can actually double the lines of information. If you're a bit confused by that, if you remember the old CRT TVs, basically an interlace signal like the megadrive and the PlayStation 1 and even the PlayStation 2, you can see those lines within the TV. This will basically fill those gaps up to make a progressive image. So with the OSSC, it gives you a bit of magic. If you go to your menu settings and then select your output source to the line doubler ×2, you can actually push out a higher resolution with your PlayStation 2 games, but don't expect some type of miracle. It does kind of just fill in those gaps and it just kind of makes the picture a bit smoother. That was my experience. But for me, I can actually capture or show you this because of my Elgato capture card, and it can't recognize that signal. So this is one of the first problems that I came across with this OSSC. But if you got this output into a TV that has a 4K resolution and can accept some obscure resolutions, it absolutely looks awesome. So I'll show you now on my downstairs 4K TV. There, it does look a bit better, but results were actually dependent on the game itself. I did find personally that 480i pass-through was actually a little bit clearer than if you were to do the line doubling mode. So those weird resolutions, my Elgato capture card cannot actually capture this, so I can't show you what it actually looks like. And the same problem occurred with the PlayStation 1. So I bunged in a PlayStation 1 game, actually works on my TV that has a 720p only upstairs, and it works awesome on my 4K TV downstairs. But my Elgato card can't show you what it actually looks like. So when it comes to actually getting a higher resolution with the OSSC, with the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, as the PlayStation 2 has a 480i or 480p signal, you can line double that to get a higher resolution. But as I said earlier, it does stay on the actual TV to accept that resolution, and it does look pretty nice, I gotta say. And then also with the PlayStation 1, it does output a 240p signal. And then with the 240p signal, you can actually times that up to 5 times line multiplier. So that does depend on your TV again, but I had mine set to ×3 and it actually looks pretty stunning. Next one up is the Sega Dreamcast. So it's just got a generic VGA cable plugged in on the right hand side, and then that is plugged into a left and right auxiliary into a jack cable. So as you can see, the picture quality is pretty awesome. And I hope there are some border down fans out there. Love this game. So this is actually probably the best video quality outputs I've managed to actually get out of this system. But there are some downfalls. I don't know what is going on with this, but maybe because I'm using a quite cheap VGA cable. I think I picked it up from Amazon for about £6. And I've used that for a long time and it served me pretty well. But when I've plugged it into this, on the actual TV, you can actually see quite a bit of noise. So there is a bit of a problem, and it can actually distract you from concentrating on the game itself. But with the actual capture card, it works fine. But that noise is apparent on my 720p screen, and also more apparent on the 4K TV. But the moment I've actually put that line doubler mode on, the noise is completely gone and looks absolutely stunning on the 4K TV. It's just a shame I can't actually capture that and show you guys. Now later on making this video, I also found out with the PlayStation 2, I connected it with component cables, and that is where I found a lot of noise using those cables. So I'm not sure if this is actually the component adapter, but I think it's the cheap cables that I'm actually using. But when I use those cables on my TV, the noise is not there. So these two consoles look pretty awesome with the OSSC. Now with the PlayStation 2, I recommend using the RGB SCART. It actually looks better than using my component cable. Then with the actual Dreamcast, I do recommend trying to get a higher, more expensive VGA cable. But the moment you actually put line doubler mode on, it absolutely looks pretty stunning. So let's play something a bit more old school. One of my favorite consoles, the megadrive. So this one actually outputs a 240p. So I'm using an RGB SCART. So this is on ×2 lines. So this is outputting a 480p resolution. So my capture card can actually accept this pretty fine. It did struggle with the PlayStation 1, I'm not too sure why, but now this is looking pretty sweet. And one of the main benefits with the OSSC is that the fact that there's no input lag. Because there's no upscaling involved and just actually adding more lines, there's actually no processing involved, so you can actually get full response with the controller, unlike what you get with any other upscaling devices. Another great feature with this device is the fact you can use scan lines. Personally, I'm not a fan of it, but I know a lot of people are. There's a lot of settings you can actually play with to actually make it look like the way you want it, to resemble closely to a CRT TV. Now with this actual unit, there's loads of things you can actually play with, and there is a website to tell you which settings are the best for each console. There is a plug and play factor if you just wanted to hook things up to work on your TV and to make it look better. Now if you wanted to use this device to capture video from your older game consoles, it kind of be a bit of a struggle, but it depends on what capture device you have. It does take a bit of fiddling with the settings. Now when actually setting this up to a 4K TV or even a 1080p, you're gonna get better results than what you see in this video. And also to quickly mention, you can also update this OSSC with an SD card. I forgot to mention earlier, there is a slot at the base of it to easily update this firmware. I did that straight away and it gave it more compatibility to PAL and UK output signals, because our resolution is a little bit different to that of American. So this is pretty awesome. It's an all-around bundled unit that actually makes everything work onto your HD screen. Well, everything that I've thrown at it anyway. Now at the timing of this video, this is going on Amazon for just £112. Now what you get all together, I think that's a great deal. Also with next day delivery, I was pretty surprised. This really is a great alternative to the highly priced FrameMeister that is really hard to get these days. So this item was sent to me by a company called Shop Happily, but a lot of the items are actually listed on Amazon. So if you want to pick up one yourself, I'll just put the link in the description box below. And let me know if any of you guys have got one yourself. You can actually still get some updates for this, but there are a lot of plug and play factors. So if you actually like this video, hit that button. If you want to support, click subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.